So when you think about the global center of the crypto universe, where'd your mind go? Silicon Valley? Maybe Singapore? Well, I'm going to tell you, one of the most fascinating and honestly most confusing stories in crypto is happening right now in India. It's this incredible tug-of-war between millions of people embracing digital money and a government that's not so sure. Okay, let's get into it.
Get this. For 2 years straight, 2023 and 2024, the #1 country in the entire world for grassroots crypto adoption has been India. That's according to the research firm Chainalysis. We're talking about the highest rate of regular, everyday people actually buying, selling, and using this stuff.
And right there, that's the giant puzzle. Just as its own citizens are leading the world in this new financial wave, the Indian government has been hitting the brakes hard. This push from the people and pull from the government, that's the whole story.
So first, let's talk about the push. This is the people's side of the story. It's a massive, bottom-up movement that's turning India into an absolute crypto powerhouse. This isn't some corporate trend. It's a real revolution happening on the streets.
And here's what you really have to understand. This isn't just happening in the big, flashy tech hubs like Mumbai or Bangalore. Nope. The real explosion is happening in what they call Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. We're talking about the heartland of the country, far away from the traditional financial centers.
This completely shatters the stereotype of your typical crypto investor. I mean, local exchanges are seeing mind-blowing growth in these smaller towns, and it's all being driven by this huge, young, tech-savvy population that sees crypto as their shot at a new kind of investment. It's not just kids in their basements either. Even bigger institutional investors are starting to dip their toes in.
And listen, this goes way beyond just trading Bitcoin. India's developers are on the front lines building the next version of the internet, what we call Web 3. They're making huge strides in areas like DeFi and NFTs. And guess what? Global investors are noticing and pouring money in.
Okay, so that's the incredible energy coming from the people. Now let's switch gears and talk about the pull. This is the government side. It's the story of a powerful state trying to get a grip on something that by its very nature is hard to control.
You know, saying the government stance has fluctuated is, well, it's a very polite way of putting it. For years, the conversation has swung wildly from talk of a total ban to promises of full regulation. And while they haven't banned it outright so far, the vibe has been anything but welcoming. It's created so much uncertainty for everyone.
Then, in 2022, they made their first big move. They didn't ban it now. They decided to tax it. A lot. We're talking a flat 30% tax on any profit you make. Just to put that in perspective, that's one of the highest tax rates on crypto gains anywhere in the world. But they didn't stop there. Oh no. They also added a 1% tax that gets deducted at the source, the TDS, on every single trade. And this is the real killer. This isn't a tax on your profit, it's a tax on the activity itself. It makes it incredibly expensive to trade frequently, essentially sucking liquidity right out of the market.
So at the exact same time the government is making private crypto difficult and expensive, what is it doing behind the scenes? It's building its own version. The Reserve Bank of India started testing something called the digital rupee. It's a central bank digital currency, basically a government-controlled, fully regulated digital cash.
And this right here, this comparison, it lays out the whole conflict perfectly. On one side, you've got private crypto, decentralized, global, open to anyone. On the other, you have the digital rupee, centralized, controlled by the government, and designed to work like official cash. These are two totally different visions for the future of money in India. So, what happens when you've got millions of people pulling in one direction and the government yanking back in the other? Well, you get a mess. A very confusing, uncertain present. Let's look at what this tug-of-war is actually doing on the ground.
Yeah, you don't have to be a Wall Street analyst to figure this chart out. Look at that. The moment those taxes kicked in April 2022, trading volumes on Indian crypto exchanges just fell off a cliff. The impact was immediate and it was brutal.
But here's the thing. That activity didn't just disappear. A huge chunk of it just moved. It went to offshore exchanges, out of sight and out of the government's control. Meanwhile, back home, the Web3 innovators are struggling, investors have no idea what the rules are, and without clear laws, it's a breeding ground for scams and hacks.
But, there is a little bit of a silver lining here. After all these years of worrying, it looks like a complete total ban is probably off the table for good. India is now actively involved in G20 talks about creating a global framework for crypto, and that signals a pretty big shift in thinking. away from just banning it and towards actually regulating it.
Which of course brings us to the biggest question of all. Where does India go from here? With so much potential and so much confusion, what does the path forward even look like?
Let's be really clear about something. Despite all these challenges, India has every single thing it needs to be a world leader in the space. It has a giant, young population that's totally fluent in digital tech and a booming tech economy. The potential isn't just big, it's absolutely enormous.
So, how do they unlock that potential? Well, most experts say it comes down to three basic things. First, they need clear, predictable rules to get rid of all this uncertainty. Second, they have to find that sweet spot, a balance that protects investors without crushing innovation. And finally, and this might be the most important one, the government and the crypto industry have to start working with each other, not against each other. So in the end, it all boils down to this one question. Will India choose to embrace the decentralized, innovative spirit that's already bubbling up from its people, or will it go down the path of centralized control? The decision they make won't just determine the future of crypto in India, it's going to define the country's entire digital destiny.